Is Karis Tanksley, and her presentation is on brains, reading, and standardized testing.
Thank you, Wesley. Okay, now it's time for a pop quiz. Everyone get out your pencils. Ajaccio is the capital of which European region? Stop right there. Did you feel that anxiety? That's how you feel right before a test, and that is what my talk is about today. According to a study by the American Federation of Teachers, 1st, 2nd, and 9th graders undertake 80 hours per year of test preparation and testing. 3rd through 8th and 10th through 12th experience 160 hours per year. This totals to 1,530 hours of testing in school. Where did we get all these tests? Well, testing has been around for years, but a major shift towards the current emphasis in testing occurred back in 1983 and a report entitled A Nation at Risk. In this report, it stated that America was being underplayed by other countries in business and education. The solutions that the government offered were policies and investment. One such policy that is active today is called the Elementary and Secondary Education Act, which began administering annual tests in 1994. This was reauthorized by Congress in 2002 and signed by President Bush as the No Child Left Behind Act, and added 5 more tests, making a total of 17 tests between kindergarten and 12th grade. The Common Core currently offers 4 more tests per year and is accepted individually by states. 44 out of 50 states are doing this now. This makes a total of 65 tests. Along with an increase in testing, there has also been an increase in spending, an investment, if you will. In 1955, with adjustment for inflation, there was $7 million spent directly for standardized testing. This has skyrocketed to the current $1.7 billion invested toward it in 2015. When I see a graph like this, I would suppose that with this investment in spending, that there would also be an increase in scores from these tests. But according to the National Assessment of Educational Progress, the national high school 12th grade reading score has remained borderline basic since 1992. How did this happen? My thesis today is that the emphasis on standardized testing is not only hurting reading scores, but also overall reading success. The complexity and fragility of the reading brain, along with the high stakes occurrence and pressure from the standardized testing, are destabilizing what we know about how the brain works. So how does the brain work? First off, I need to let you know that there is no specialized brain center for reading like this for seeing or speaking. Functional MRIs, such as this one, tell us that there are more than 13 areas that the brain co-ops in order to be able to help us to read. This is important because since reading does not have a single center in the brain and instead must co-opt other functions, it would be easy to interrupt a reader's success and would explain why there are so many disabilities and difficulties with reading. And there are. Data tells us that there are 20% of the world's population that suffer from dyslexia. That's 60 million Americans. Now, standardized testing does not, according to statistics, cause dyslexia. But the point here is that over-testing overlooks the fragility of the reading brain and the fact that test anxiety is causing more and more problems with reading. Something else is wrong. The emphasis on standardized testing and this high test anxiety that is occurring in students is constricting the very thing that helps us to read and continue to read throughout life, and that is curiosity. And it is the reason why we read. According to a poll by the National Public Radio, 75,220 people were asked what was their favorite young adult fiction, and their answer was Harry Potter. They were also asked, why did they read all 7 books? The answer was unanimously, because they wanted to know what happened next. Curiosity is the reason why we continue to read and why we would read all 7 books. There is a center in the brain that lights up during explorative reading and play, and that is the reticular arousal system, or the RAS. The RAS is associated with, intensity of attention and thus curiosity, and is a column of nerve cells extending throughout the lower brain. The problem is that test anxiety kills curiosity. Test anxiety works this way. Your brain is flooded with cortisol and adrenaline when faced with a test. In fact, your brain may light up in areas that overlap with actual bodily harm. Now, fight or flight is a good reaction when you're actually faced with a predator. But when you're in front of a test, it clouds your mind, clouds your abilities to think well, and inhibits your problem-solving abilities from kicking in, which is what you kind of need when you're in front of a test. This is a bigger problem than some people would suppose. 36% of K-12 students suffer from test anxiety, and that is 10 million kids. This creates a vicious cycle. We teach the test in the hopes that we would prepare our students for the test that's coming at the end of the month. But more and more of our kids are experiencing increased anxiety, and more and more of our kids are failing. The solution that we offer our children currently is to once more teach the test. But there is a way to break this vicious cycle, and that is to de-emphasize testing. One benefit for de-emphasizing testing is to reallocate funding towards subjects that have been squeezed out of the curriculum by this increasing emphasis on testing, such as visual arts, music, social studies, PE, financial literacy, science, and world languages. Instructional time will also be able to be reallocated from test preparation to subjects such as these, from school to school, varying from anywhere from 40 minutes a day to a whole hour. In case you were curious, Ajaccio is the capital city of Corsica, a region in France. Now you know. Test anxiety may give us fear and make it hard for us to think clearly in situations, but curiosity is that one thing that helps us not only to read that first Harry Potter book, but to read the 7th Harry Potter book and to pick up other books and find out anything, whether it be fictional, how will Harry Potter defeat Voldemort, or factual, what is the date of earliest humans? The current emphasis on high-stakes testing creates an environment that negates what we know about how the brain works and how best to encourage students to read. The brain thrives on exploration and curiosity. Here is the stairway to success, towards reading success for our students. And so instead of stopping on every step to take another test, let's keep moving forward. Thank you.